else but God and you and your spouse dictate what kind of rules and things that are going to go on in your house. Also, different is not about right or wrong. When we do that, it's prideful. Our way or the highway, that doesn't work. That's not Christ-like at all. And I know many people are like that. And women are just as guilty of this as men. Believe me, I used to be one. It was my way or no way. And Larry let me do it. For 23 years, he let me be the main leader of the home. And after 23 years, he finally blew up. And I'd never seen him get mad. And he made some mistakes. And that's when we really turned to God to get our life back the way it should be. And that's why we're here today as ordained pastors and doctors of marriage ministry. We never dreamed that would ever happen. But God takes a fall and lifts you up. But you have to be willing. You both have to be willing. And so I let my pride go and the part to be right go. And out of that came this wonderful ministry that we have. It's an opportunity to exercise grace and get more knowledge and wisdom. Satan, the enemy, wants to use fear when things are different. God wants us to see his awesome creativity. Communication is to listen, learn, and respond, but not react. Respond. Give up your right to be offended. I want to ask Karen, you've been to several of our classes. Do you have anything that maybe from your notes or something that you would like to add to any of the things that I've spoken of? You know, we've done this chapter many, many times, but we have a lot of discussion in it. So I'm going to give you the mic.
I think the main thing to emphasize is that grace part, because as we do this is something brand new. If we've been doing it wrong for however age we are, it's going to take us a little bit of time. So that's where the importance of that grace is going to come in, as we learn how to be transformed. We're walking this. The Bible says, do not be conformed to this world. So we've been conformed to this world for several years. But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so this teaching helps us to our minds to be renewed as we learning how to walk in this newness of life, this new kingdom. This is kingdom wisdom. This is how to walk in the kingdom while we're here on earth. And so that we can be able to, do family like God is family in heaven, because we're going to be in heaven with him, and he considers us his whole family. And so, it's teaching us how to be family right here on earth. It's kind of like I remember someone saying, if you can't learn how to love your brother here on earth, how are you going to love him when you get up in heaven? You best start practicing. So that's all I have to add.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add besides Lawrence? Sure. You've been to a few of these classes too, but it's been a while, I know.
This is a really interesting chapter because it talks about, who's normal is normal, and it talks about how to be open to how someone else thinks, about the way they do things. So immediately what pops into mind is, if I think about Jamila and let's just take something trivial, dishes, right? I'm always quick to throw dishes in the dishwasher. She's like, don't touch the dishwasher, wash every dish by hand. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's what you have this nice dishwasher, we're not going to use it. And, she grew up saying that, my mom made us wash dishes by hand. We had to wash every single dish, and that's how she grew up. and we went back east to my mom's vacation place, and my mother was putting all the dishes in the dishwasher, and she goes, "Yeah, I see where you get that from." And and that's on the lighter side of things, but it causes me to think that's the way she really, really, really wants her dishes done. She thinks the dishwasher doesn't really get the dishes clean. So if I'm over her place, then that's what I need to do, which is fine. I always tease her, "I'm throwing them in the dishwasher when you're gone." But she's like, "What, boy?" So, but one of the biggest things is that impacting things that I noticed about this chapter was having that needing the grace that you spoke of for the much larger issues. Also, when you said in the beginning, focusing in on figuring out the things that are important. Now, if there are negative things, you have to deal with it and communicate and talk. Because what might be normal may be really abnormal, may not necessarily be positive, and it actually really, 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 really could be extra negative, but that's something that they grew up with. And that's where I find that trying to figure that fine balance on how to understand what that is, communicate, talk about it, and get rid of what the really, really abnormal or what is negative, focusing on what is positive in order to step forward in that relationship.
And this is one of the chapters that This is one of the chapters that we also talk about when you are used to doing your thing and you think you are so dead right and anyone else doing it different is wrong. And because it is prideful, you can get upset about it and really mad that, hey, you need to do it my way. We like to use the example of a guy that was a chef that was consistently trying to teach his wife how to cut carrots. They had to be cut his way. And he would do it every time and say, I've already showed you once. I'll show you one more time how to do it. And so he, was real quick. Being a chef, he did it real quick. And then come to find out, she's left-handed. He's right-handed, she's left-handed. She's never going to do it his way. There's just no way. Left-handed person cannot do what a right-handed person can do. Not hold the knife the same way. You just can't do it. You can do it better. Yeah. So, we just have to pick our battles. Is it really worth fighting over? Is it really worth saying? Also, the timing when you say something. You may hear something and you think, well, I don't think I agree with that. But if I say something right now, he's going to just strike back. Or the guy, well, I don't like what she just said, but should I zap her right now with what I really want to say, or should I wait till another time when we're both kind of quiet and it's downtime for the both of us, nobody's rushing out the door, and we have time to productively have a discussion about this, pray about it, and resolve it together with God. And a lot of times that will prevent an argument, because the timing is so crucial. And I've done that. I just mouth off, many times before I was really saved. I thought, well, he thinks he's going to get away with that. Ain't going to happen. And Larry, being the nice guy that he was, he would just clam up about it and not say anything. But it hurt inside. It hurt inside. And until we had been married 23 years, then it finally all came out. He said, Carol, you put me on a pedestal so high, I had no way to go but fall off. I didn't know that. But those are things we learn as we go. And most of you know, we just celebrated 37 years of being married. And it was purely by God, because we sure would not have made it. And we also know, because we came real close to Larry, me telling him to leave. And we both felt in our heart that if we left, if we separated, we would never have gotten back together. We just knew it in our hearts, both of us. And so we just decided we would fight the devil together. And as I like to say, that the devil thought Larry was alone in that house. But when he got in the house, I got to close the door and face him. And the two of us beat the daylights out of him. And we're still beating the daylights out of him because he's still attacking my body health-wise, and now our children's bodies health-wise. And but this ministry is going to go on. Even if something happens that I can't even speak anymore, it will be written down. This ministry will continue, and that's why we raise leaders up like you guys here to be able to go out and raise other leaders. It's our job to teach others to teach. This ministry is not about us. We're just being used as a tool and a messenger. But we need more of you guys to go out and teach other people. Blended families can work when you know God's plan, which is the priority pyramid that we have here. God at the top, the husband and wife at the bottom, the average triangle that everybody knows in the marriage ministry. But God gave Larry the insight of the lines in between based upon the length of the relationship. And under God, the first one is the marriage. The first one, God, of course, because it's eternal. The next one is marriage, and that's supposed to be till death do you part. Third one is the parent-child, and we are not supposed to consider these kids as ownership. We're supposed to be stewards. And 18 to 25 years, they should be on their own, and we should be able to give them back to God and trust that we raised them right to be able to glorify God's kingdom on their own and their families. The fourth one is the extended family. There are seasons for those extended families sometimes, but also the boundaries, and that's the healthy boundaries I told you that we need to keep in place. And we've had many people, because we've been counselors now for 14 years, call and say, well, the ex-wife is always calling all hours of the day and night. You need to come change the light bulb. The light blew out in the garage. Well, that ain't going to happen. Not on my watch. No. We tell them, this is how you do it. You call between these hours, and when you do call, you will be put on speakerphone because whatever you ask me to do affects my wife. So we have to alter our home some way to accommodate what you're asking or what you're going to ask me to do. And the same with the ex-wives. They do the same thing, and the ex-husbands. It works both ways. But you set healthy boundaries together. You set them. The guy doesn't just set them for his ex-wife. You know, you got to pray about it and sit down and write them out. The job and the career, that can be a season also. But the job is a gift. The gift is to be able to meet your family's needs, whatever way you need. If you don't have the job, you can't. The other one is your ministry. And your first ministry better be to your spouse. Better be that marriage. And that's what we teach. And any time someone comes to us for counseling, I don't care if it's a pastor's kid or a pastor, something is out of order. And we can see it real quick. It's amazing. And when we put this up, just like we did when we did the presentation at the Grand Canyon, so many people got up there and took pictures. They said, we've never seen that before. Well, no, because God just gave it to us 9 years ago. But that is the platform of our Blended Families ministry. And every time you're having an issue, something is out of order here. This is the way that it goes. It's the way it's supposed to be. Do I have anybody else that has a comment or a suggestion? Or Karen?
About, you had, Larry on the pedestal. So looking at that priority pyramid, in marriage, we do want to honor our spouses. But we also have to keep God first. He said he's a jealous God.
Mm-hmm.
That will affect couple lectureship, I did that. You know,